Welcome, my friends. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Glennis Chester, and I am your host for Bite Sized Tools You Can Use. This is a series that provides practical leadership tools, tips from the trenches, valuable information, and suggestions that you can begin using today in a convenient 30-minute format. If you're interested in watching past episodes, you can do that too. All you have to do is log on to the NFRW website as you normally would, and then in the red tab or the red bar at the top of the page, you hover your cursor over members. A drop down menu will appear, and on the left hand column, a little bit over halfway down, you'll see the word programs. Click on that, and you'll see the familiar Apple icon. Right under that is a link for archived episodes. So that's where you'll find all of the episodes that we've done all year long, and I hope that you will enjoy them as much as I have enjoyed making them for you. So today's program is specifically for all of our newly elected 2023 officers out there. Congratulations, you have been elected. Now what? So if you're excited but feeling a little overwhelmed, do not worry, you are not alone, and the Federation has your back. This is normally where I would remind everyone to mute their microphones and type any questions into the chat feature, but we're actually pre-recording today, so we will not be having a Q&A time, but please do feel free to contact me directly at my personal email, glennis@chesterfamily.net, and you should be able to see it right down there. I will answer any questions that you have, or I will direct you to someone who has the answer if I don't have it. As always, I want to give a great big thank you to Erica Watley for facilitating the technical aspects of today's program. So let's dive in. First and foremost, you've been elected. Now what do? Gather your resources. Whatever your position, arm yourself with knowledge. And I do want to say before I jump into that, please don't consider this a positional training. It really isn't. This should be supplemental. I'm giving you tips that I have learned over the years, but this isn't a true training for your position, so don't confuse it with that. This should be completely supplemental. Okay, so we're going to arm yourself with knowledge. Ask your predecessor, whoever came in before you doing your job, for all their records, files, data that she may have, and then go to coffee, go have lunch, and ask questions. She probably has so much information and advice if you just ask her. So use her knowledge and then go from there. Become familiar with a copy of your club and state bylaws. I cannot overstate this enough. Your bylaws are so important. Doesn't matter what your position is. Also, your standing rules, any other pertinent documents that you have for governing your organization. Get contact information for your district and regional director, and then drop her a line and introduce yourself. This is going to be your best friend and your lifeline whenever you have questions or problems, so you need to contact her and make your friendship now. Sign up for positional training. So I guarantee you that your state or your region has training already set up. Now, this could be offered regionally or in person via Zoom. Could be archived on video. There are so many different ways that we have training available for you, but I promise you there is a training for your position. You just have to find it. And again, you may have to talk to your regional or district director to find out where that is or who has it and how you can get it done. Develop an action plan. What do you hope to accomplish in your position during your term? And don't be afraid to dream big. There is no dream that is too big when you have a plan. So think about what you want to accomplish, what you want to do with your job. Do you want to do something that's never been done before? Go for it, but you have to have a plan and you've got to sell it to your committee. One of the things that makes your organization so special is that we are able to make each and every club and state unique by the way that we dream and the things that we can do individually in our clubs. So don't be afraid of dreaming big. Just get your plan together. Okay, this is a big one, and every single person on the committee needs to do it. Start thinking about the budget, and it usually hits us before we even realize it. You will need, if you need anything for your committee, now is the time to think about how much you're going to need and how you're going to make the money. The treasurer will create the budget, but she takes input from the other officers and then she presents it to the entire membership for approval. Now, that usually happens at your board retreat or before the actual beginning of the year because the budget is presented at the beginning of the year to the membership. So, as soon as you're elected, start thinking about, well, what am I going to need from my committee? If I'm going to need money for anything, now's the time to think about it. And if you're going to, like I said, have that dream program or dream whatever, that big wish, if it's going to cost something, now's the time to say, okay, this is what it's going to cost. Figure out what it is, and be able to sell it. Okay, plan if you're the president or attend a board retreat. This is the time to communicate expectations, to develop plans for the term, and share your action plans with the other officers. It's also just really good team building um, time for the officers to get to know one another and how you will work well together. I cannot overstate the importance of a board retreat for the officers, but for everyone to get together before the year starts. And this is a good one. Order your name badge, your business cards, and thank you notes. I know it's really easy, and you've heard me say this before if you've watched any of my programs, to send out text messages or emails for your thank yous. But to have a thank you note, um, hard copy thank you note, means so much to people. Um, it's worth it. And if you can have your name on it, even better. So, but you need that name badge that has your new title on it, and you want your business cards. And I've said before, if you can put your club's information on one side and your personal contact information on the other, that's golden. So it does double duty, and everyone is a contact that you need to have and keep. Okay, second, we're going to start making connections. Establish partnerships with, oops, establish partnerships with sister clubs, your county Republican Party, and any other Republican organizations in your area, and include their programs in the upcoming events section or whatever you have in your newsletter or meeting agenda. Reciprocity builds and strengthens our party from within. So when you start advertising their events, they'll start advertising your events. And before you know it, you've got a stronger Republican, what's the word I'm looking for, relationship in your community. We should all be working together. It's not a competition. Every conservative organization should be working hand in hand with each other because we're all on the same team. I mean, you know that, and I know that because we're part of the federation. And sometimes we need to be the example to other organizations, and say, "Hey, we want to work with you. We want to help you. Tell me what you've got coming up, and I'll advertise it to my members so they can come and join your events." And sometimes that's all they need is to see that, hey, we really do want to play ball with them. And then they'll turn around and reciprocate that. And remember that every single person that you meet, man or woman, is a potential member, speaker, or both. You are now an ambassador for your club and for the National Federation of Republican Women. Start collecting those business cards, following up with everyone, and counting those hours. Now, we're going to plan, and we're going to start with our meetings. First, get out your club achievement roadmap. Where is that? Okay, well, we're going to go back to the NFRW website again. And while I encourage everyone to apply for awards, this really has nothing to do with awards. If you go under members and go to resources and to the awards tab, under there is your club achievement roadmap. This is something that, yes, it is with awards. It's used to help you get awards, but really what it is a recipe for a successful club. If you go through this, read the Club Achievement Roadmap, and it will tell you exactly what you should do each month. And I mean, you don't have to go through it and go, okay, well, I'm going to set my oven to 450, and then I'm going to mix my dry ingredients, then I'm going to mix my wet ingredients, and then I'm going to, sift, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do it exactly like that. But it does tell you you want to have a couple of meetings that are about educational programs. You want to have um, a meeting that brings in someone from your state board as a speaker. You want to have meetings that are about different topics, and it really gives you a well-rounded club. It tells you, oh, you want to bring in young Republicans, and you want to do a service project, and you want, and all of these different things, and it might give you ideas that you hadn't thought of. So pull out your Club Achievement Roadmap and look at that, and it will be a huge help in planning your meetings for the year. Second, print an agenda, not just for you, but for your members. Print an upcoming events or save the date section on the bottom or the back of the agenda, and your members will actually take it with them when they leave the meeting. And go back to what we were talking about before. Add some stuff on there, not only for what your club is going to be doing, but what other organizations that you want to partner with might be doing. Be creative with your speakers. Don't use the same speaker that another club across town just used. For heaven's sakes, at least wait 6 months before you trot out the exact same program that your sister club just had. I mean, you want to be a trendsetter. You don't want to be the follower. Nobody wants to be the follower. So be a trendsetter and be creative with your programming. It is up to your team to make your club unique and attractive to new members. And this is something that should be a goal of every single officer from day one. So, and I know you can do it. It's not hard, but it does take some brainstorming. And again, this is something that you can do during the retreats. Talk about what kind of programming you want to have. Okay, let's talk about managing meetings. Control your microphone. Maintain a professional atmosphere. How do you do that? That microphone belongs to the president. The president runs the meeting. Stick to an agenda. Use parliamentary procedure. Well, you can't use it if you don't know it. So get a parliamentarian, know your parliamentary procedure. Even if you just know the basics, get Robert's Rules of Order. There is a very simplified version that you can get that's not very big. Get it, read it, use it. Give every speaker, from your feature presenter to the smallest committee chair, a line by line or a run of show so they know precisely how long they have to speak and where they are in the lineup. If they've got 2 minutes, they need to know it. If they've got 18 minutes, they need to know it. And it doesn't hurt to have a little timer or a watch or something digital sitting on your podium so they can see it, so every speaker can see where they're at. And to leave an agenda there too so they can see where they're at. Let's see. Know exactly what your speaker intends to speak about before inviting him or her to speak. You don't want any surprises. The fewer surprises you have, the better off you are, because that's when the trouble happens, is when you're having surprises. You don't want surprises. Control questions for your featured speaker. Either request questions be in writing, and you can do this by putting cards at tables or asking them to be given to you in advance, or invite members just to visit with the speaker after the meeting adjourns. That's a good way to control any outlandish questions that might happen. But sometimes your speaker will prefer to have an open Q&A period. And if that's what your speaker wants and that's what you've agreed to, then you need to agree to a set time and stick to it. But control your floor. It is not uncommon at the end of your meeting when you say, is there any other business for the good of the organization? for someone to raise their hand to make an announcement, or some crazy off the wall remark that you did not expect or that you were not planning for and you were not prepared for, you can always say something like, um, how about talk to me about that after the meeting, or please send me the details on that and I will take a look. And that way, everyone knows it's not sanctioned by you or the club, but it's something you're considering. Um, okay, let's talk about communication. Every officer and committee chair should know their duties and and the expectations of them. This is so much easier if it's in writing. So get job descriptions ahead of time. And don't be afraid to generate a job description if there's a newly created role. Very often we'll come up with a new position because you've got someone that really wants to do something and you really don't have a position, but this member is really excited and she's got something she wants to do. Well, create a new job description. Just make sure that you pass on that job description to the next president so they have it in their notebook. In most cases, leaders burn out quickly because they try to do everything. Don't micromanage, trust your board. A good leader should delegate and follow up. And I know that we don't want anyone to get burned out. Plus, when you break up your duties into bite sized chunks, more ladies can be involved. Women who feel a sense of ownership in your club become long-standing members, and that's what we want. So build up your leadership bench by providing mentorship and training for every single position from president to sunshine chair. You can, there's really no reason that every single position that you have doesn't have a co-position, or not really a co, but a vice position. And that person is learning the voting person's position. And not only do you have someone that's learning it and they can step into that role, or they may decide, this is not for me. I want to do something else. But at least they've learned it and they know. And you're building up the bench, and people are buying into it. People are buying into your club, and they're feeling ownership because they're doing something important. You are now a leader in the largest grassroots Republican women's organization in the country. I have confidence that you and your team are going to accomplish great things, and your Federation sisters are here to support you. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly. As I said, my email again is glennis@chesterfamily.net. It should be right down there somewhere. I hope you enjoyed this month's edition of Bite-Sized Tools You Can Use, and I would invite you to please join me next month for it will be on December 27th, when we discuss the NFRW website and how it is a benefit to you and your membership. So please join me then, and I will talk to you then. Bye.